Am I an idiot for selling my Taylor Swift tickets after my girlfriend cheated? A few months ago, I, a 27-year-old man, won some money on stake and decided to surprise my 25-year-old girlfriend with tickets to Taylor Swift's Vancouver show. She has been a huge Swiftie for as long as I can remember, so I knew this would mean the world to her. I spent about $800 on 2 amazing seats. Last week, I found out she had been secretly meeting up with her so-called work friend for months. I only discovered this because she accidentally left her Instagram DMs open on my laptop while using it to print something. That's when I saw weeks' worth of flirty messages and plans to meet up. When I confronted her, she tried to deny everything at first, but eventually she admitted they had kissed multiple times and were having an emotional affair. I was completely crushed. Those tickets were supposed to be something special for us, and after what she did, I couldn't stand the thought of taking her. Instead of letting them go to waste, I decided to sell them. Since Taylor Swift tickets are insanely in demand right now, I managed to sell them for $2,400, 3 times what I originally paid. When she found out, she absolutely lost it. She has been blowing up my phone, calling me petty and cruel, saying I ruined her dream and that the tickets were a gift, so they should have been hers. Her friends are also messaging me, saying I'm a terrible person for using the tickets to hurt her. I honestly feel like I had every right to sell something I bought with my own money, especially after what she did. But now she's making me wonder if I took things too far. Am I an idiot? Am I an idiot for slapping a teenager? I'm a 32 girl, was at a water park this last weekend with my husband, 32 years old, and my daughter. We were in one of the pools practicing swimming and keeping to ourselves. There was a group of teen boys there, and while I was working with my daughter on swimming, one of them came up behind me and I felt a tug on the strings of my top, untying it. I spun around, saw this 15 to 17-year-old with a smirk, and slapped him. This quickly caused a scene. The park staff got involved as well, the boys' parents, who were livid at me. My husband and another lady saw it happen and confirmed that he really did grab my top. There was also camera around the pool, that kind of show it wasn't the best angle. The boys' parents threatened assault charges and I threatened sexual assault charges if they decided to go that way. Eventually, we were both asked to leave and haven't heard anything since. My husband, though, still thinks I overreacted a bit, which I don't. So, am I an idiot because of this? Am I an idiot for refusing my girlfriend's tradition? I am a 30-year-old man, and when I was 22, I lost my younger brother to cancer. He fought incredibly hard, and ever since his passing, I have honored him by following a personal tradition on the anniversary of his death. Every year, I take the day off from work, visit his grave, donate blood, then come home to relax and watch his favorite movie. It's a simple ritual, but it means a great deal to me. My girlfriend of 9 months, Anna, a 31-year-old woman, asked me to have lunch with her and her mom yesterday. I've met her mom plenty of times before, so this wasn't some big meet the parents event. I told her no and reminded her about my tradition and why this day is so important to me. She got upset and said, "Well, it's my tradition to have lunch with my mom whenever she's in town, and she really wanted to see you. You can do your stupid blood donation tradition any day." I tried to explain that it wasn't just about donating blood, but she didn't seem to care. Later in the evening, while I was resting and watching my brother's favorite movie, she texted me again, asking me to join them. Once again, I told her I really didn't want to, and that I'd be happy to spend time with her mom another day. Her response was that I had embarrassed her in front of her mom by being selfish and lazy. Since then, she's been acting distant. Now I'm wondering if I should have handled things differently. Do I owe her an apology? Am I an idiot? Am I an idiot for refusing to let my neighbor use my driveway after she kept parking in it without asking? I am a 30-year-old woman living in a suburban neighborhood with my 32-year-old husband. We have a double driveway that comfortably fits both of our cars, and we've been in this house for about 5 years. Our next-door neighbor, let's call her Linda, moved in a year ago. She's an older woman in her late 50s who comes across as friendly, but lately she's been causing some issues. It started a few months back when I came home and found her car parked in my driveway. At first, I assumed it was a mistake, so I knocked on her door and asked her to move it. She apologized, explaining that she had a guest over and her own driveway was full. I let it slide that time, but then it kept happening. I'd come home and find either her car or one of her guests' cars in my driveway. I repeatedly told her this wasn't okay, but she would just shrug, move the car, and say things like, "It's not like you were using it right then." The final straw was last week. My mother-in-law, who isn't exactly my biggest fan, was visiting. I had specifically asked her to park in our driveway so she wouldn't block the street, but when we got home from running errands, Linda's car was there again. My MIL, already in a bad mood, sarcastically remarked, "Wow, even your neighbors walk all over you, I wonder why." That was it for me. I knocked on Linda's door and firmly told her this was the last time she would park in my driveway. She got defensive, saying I was being unreasonable since she only did it occasionally, and that it was just a driveway, not some sacred space. Since then, she's been giving me the cold shoulder, and I've noticed her glaring at me whenever I'm outside. My husband thinks I might have overreacted and should have just let it go, especially since she's older and not worth the drama. Even my Emil surprisingly agreed and told me to pick my battles. But I feel like this is my property, and I shouldn't have to keep asking someone not to use it without permission. At the same time, I'm wondering if I escalated things too much by confronting her so directly. So, am I an idiot for refusing to let my neighbor park in my driveway and possibly making things worse? Update. My neighbor kept parking in my driveway, so I had her car towed. Well, today was the last straw. I had an early appointment, and when I stepped outside, I saw Linda's car blocking me in. My husband had already left for work, so I knocked on her door and waited for about 15 minutes. But there was no answer. I even tried calling her, but her phone went straight to voicemail. I was running late and completely fed up, so I called a towing company. They arrived quickly, and just as they were hooking up her car, Linda stormed out of her house, furious. She started yelling at me and the tow truck driver, calling me petty and insisting I could have just waited a bit longer, or left a note. I stayed calm and reminded her that I had asked her multiple times to stop parking in my driveway, but she refused to listen. In the end, she had to pay the towing fee, and now she's absolutely livid. She's been complaining to other neighbors, calling me a vindictive control freak, and a few of them have hinted that maybe I overreacted. Even my husband thinks I could have handled it differently to avoid escalating the situation. And of course, my mother-in-law, who happened to be visiting today, just had to add her opinion. As we sat down for lunch, she casually remarked, "Some people just can't manage conflict like adults." I'm pretty sure that wasn't directed at Linda. So now, Linda glares at me every time she sees me. My husband is annoyed about the neighborhood drama, and my MIL is treating this like some personal failing of mine. I still believe I was justified, but I'll admit the fallout has been a lot to deal with. So, am I an idiot because of this? For refusing to share my bonus with my fiancé's family? I am a 30-year-old man working in tech, and this year has been incredible for me career-wise. Recently, I received a substantial year-end bonus, $50,000, and I was beyond excited. I've been saving for years to buy a house, and I knew exactly where this money was going. Straight into my house fund. My fiancée, a 28-year-old woman, has always been aware of this plan and was initially very supportive. Then, out of nowhere, she hit me with a request that completely threw me off. She asked if I could spare $25,000 from my bonus to help her parents pay off their mortgage. Apparently, they've been struggling financially, and she feels that since we're going to be married, it's only fair that I contribute because they will be my family too. I told her no. I've worked incredibly hard for this money, and while I sympathize with her parents, I don't believe it's my responsibility to bail them out, especially when they haven't even asked me directly. Her reaction was immediate. She called me selfish and accused me of not caring about her family. She also brought up how much her parents have sacrificed for her and insisted that this was the least I could do. Since then, she's been distant. And to make matters worse, she told her parents about my bonus without my permission. Now, I'm being guilt-tripped. They haven't explicitly asked for money, but they've made plenty of passive-aggressive remarks about how lucky I am to have extra cash and how some people don't get that kind of opportunity. When I tried to explain that I'm using this money to secure our future by investing in a home, my fiancé snapped back. What future? You're already showing you don't care about the people who matter to me. I don't think I should have to justify how I use my own bonus, but now even my friends are divided. Some think I'm being completely reasonable, while others say I'm being stingy. So, am I an idiot for standing my ground? So, am I an idiot because of this? For being truthful and admitting that I find my wife unattractive after her surgery. My wife recently had plastic surgery, something we discussed beforehand, and I was against it. Ultimately, it was her decision, and I had no say in the matter. Now that she's fully healed, I can't deny that she looks different. She had fat removed from her face, got lip fillers, a neck lift, and other procedures that I don't fully understand. But the end result? It just doesn't look natural to me. She gives me this uncanny valley feeling that I can't shake. She wants things to go back to normal, including our intimacy. I've tried, but it's not the same. I don't initiate as often as I used to, and when I do, I make sure the lights are off. It's been a few months, and honestly, I kind of dread looking at her. Of course, she's noticed. She's been pressing me for answers, but I've tried avoiding the truth. I told her I was just tired from work or feeling run down. Really anything except the real reason. Then, things escalated. She broke down and asked if I was having an affair. I reassured her I wasn't, but she asked to see my phone. I had nothing to hide, so I handed it over. She spent an hour going through everything and found nothing. After that, she demanded to know why I had changed so much. I tried to brush it off again, saying I just wasn't in the mood lately, but nothing I said satisfied her. She kept pushing until I finally admitted the truth. I wasn't harsh or cruel. I just told her that her new face wasn't something I found attractive, and that, yes, it was the reason I preferred the lights off. She broke down in tears and said she needed time alone. She packed a bag and went to stay with her sister. Since then, I've been getting bombarded with insults. Her sister called me every name in the book for insulting my wife's looks. And all her friends think I'm the villain in this. But I didn't want to say anything in the first place. I can't force myself to be attracted to something I'm not. I still love her, but she just looks strange. Now, honestly, she reminds me of the blue alien from The Fifth Element. So, am I an idiot for telling her the truth? So, am I an idiot for telling an American woman she wasn't German? I'm a German woman, born and raised in Germany, and while I was traveling in another country and staying at a hostel, there were people from a variety of countries. One day, a woman from the US and I were talking with a group about random topics, and we ended up discussing cars. Someone mentioned they were thinking of buying a Porsche, and the American woman tried to correct him, saying, "You know, that's wrong. It's actually pronounced." I just chuckled and said, "No, he actually said it right." That's when she snapped, saying, No, I'm German, okay? I know how it's pronounced." I switched to German. I have a natural New York accent, so maybe she hadn't realized I was German. And I told her, "You know that's not how it's pronounced." She looked at me and said, "What?" I repeated it in English, adding, "I thought you said you were German." She then told me, "I'm German, but I don't speak the language." I asked if she was actually German, or if her great-great-great-grandparents were German, and she said it was the latter, so I told her, "I don't think that counts as German, sorry," and he pronounced Porsche correctly. She got upset and said I was being elitist and that she was as German as I am. I didn't want to continue the argument, so I just said, "Okay," and interacted with others. Later, I found out from another guy that she had been telling people I was an asshole for correcting her, and that I was a damn Nazi trying to determine who's German or not. I'm confused. Why did she react so strongly? Was it really offensive to tell her she was wrong? So, am I an idiot for breaking up with my girlfriend because of a caught cheating prank? I'm a 26-year-old man, and I recently broke up with my 25-year-old girlfriend of 2 years over something that happened, and now my friends think I massively overreacted. A few days ago, my girlfriend and a close mutual friend decided to prank me. They filmed a scenario where I caught them in bed together, pretending they were hooking up. They set up a hidden camera in the bedroom, and when I walked in, I saw my friend in just boxers and my girlfriend in a bra and panties, straddling him, acting like they were in the middle of hooking up. To make it more believable, they even made noises and pretended like it was happening for real. I was shocked and furious, thinking I had just walked in on an actual betrayal. I immediately confronted them, then walked out of the room and started to leave the house. They followed me, screaming that it was just a prank, and then showed me the video they'd been recording. To be honest, I felt completely betrayed, not just by the idea of the prank, but also by how they had gotten undressed to film it. I know it's supposed to be funny to some people, but for me, it felt disrespectful, and I was deeply hurt. The whole thing felt like a violation of trust, even though I knew they weren't actually cheating. I told her I couldn't be in a relationship with someone who would do something like that, and I ended things right there. She's devastated, and now our friends are telling me I overreacted. They think it was just a harmless prank and that I should have been able to laugh it off. But I can't shake the feeling that it crossed a line for me, especially because of how intimate and uncomfortable it felt to see them in that situation, even though it wasn't real. Now I'm questioning whether I made the right choice. Everyone else seems to think I blew it out of proportion. Edit. I didn't expect this many responses, thank you. She posted about this earlier and sent me a link to her post. I know she wants me to watch the video to prove it was all set up, but I feel like she still doesn't get that I'm upset about her disregard and disrespect for me and our relationship. Anyway, I'm signing off for the night. Update. My ex was really upset about the hate she received online and blamed me for painting her in a bad light. I told her I didn't do that. She just didn't like being called out for her behavior. The mutual friend who was part of the prank is now also mad at me, saying I went way overboard. I told both of them to fuck off and blocked their numbers. Our friends are starting to take this more seriously after reading some of the comments here. A few are taking my side and saying what my ex and the friend did was horrible, but others still think I should have just laughed it off and moved on. So, am I an idiot for ruining my boyfriend's birthday dinner because I didn't agree to pay for everyone? I'm a 20-year-old woman, and I've been dating my boyfriend Ryan, 21, for about a year. For his birthday this year, I wanted to do something special, so I told him I'd take him out to a nice dinner. Just the two of us, and I'd cover the bill. He was super excited and agreed. So, I made a reservation at a nice restaurant, put on a nice dress, and was really looking forward to seeing his reaction. When I got there, I was surprised to find that Ryan had invited his best friend, who also showed up with his girlfriend. He hadn't mentioned anything about them coming. I was caught off guard but thought, why not have a nice couple dinner? The whole time, his best friend and his girlfriend were ordering a ton of appetizers and multiple drinks each. I started panicking because I realized the bill was going to be way more than I'd planned for. Toward the end of the meal, Ryan leaned over and said, "Don't forget, you said you'd cover it." I told him I agreed to pay for his dinner since it was his birthday, but not for another couple I didn't even know was coming. He said it was rude to invite people to a dinner and not pay for them. At that point, I was already pretty upset and told him that it was even ruder to invite people to a dinner someone else was paying for, without telling them first. I was so angry I couldn't speak, so I just stayed quiet, waiting for the waiter to bring the check. When the check came, I paid for my meal and Ryan's, then told his friend he should cover the bill for himself and his girlfriend. They both looked at me like I had insulted them, saying I embarrassed them in front of the server. On top of that, Ryan called me cheap and said I ruined his birthday. This all happened last Saturday, and since then, Ryan has been giving me the cold shoulder and answering my messages with insults about how I embarrassed him in front of his friend. I'm now thinking about breaking up with him because we haven't talked in over a week, even though I wanted to apologize. Maybe some of you have advice for me? Am I an idiot for refusing to give my mother access to my savings account, even though she says it's for family emergencies? I'm a 24-year-old woman, and I've been working since I turned 18, carefully saving money over the years. I've built up a solid emergency fund and have been putting money aside for a future house. My parents have always known that I'm responsible with money, but recently my mom, who is 48 years old, has started pressuring me to give her access to my savings account. She says it's because our family has been hit with a lot of unexpected expenses lately, like car repairs and medical bills for my younger brother, who is 15 years old. I understand that things have been tough financially, and I've always tried to help when I could. I've paid for groceries, chipped in on household bills, and even covered some of my brother's school expenses. But according to my mom, that's still not enough. She wants direct access to my savings, just in case something big happens. I told her that I wasn't comfortable with that because I've worked hard for this money, and it's meant for my future. I also reassured her that if a real emergency came up, I'd be more than willing to help. But I wanted to do it on my own terms. She got really upset, accusing me of not trusting her and calling me selfish. My dad has stayed out of it, but my older sister, who is 26 years old, thinks I'm overreacting and should just let mom have access. She even said, "What's the point of saving if you're not going to help your family?" Now I feel torn. Of course, I want to support my family, but at the same time, I don't think it's fair for me to just hand over control of the money I've worked so hard to save. Am I an idiot for refusing to give my mother access to my savings account? So, am I an idiot for telling my mom that it was obvious they never liked me and that it's good we don't have to pretend anymore? I never really fit in with my family, and they made sure I knew it. They were always disappointed that I wasn't into the things they loved. I had no interest in board games or video games. I didn't enjoy fantasy or science fiction novels. Maybe when I was little, I tried to fit in just because I wanted to feel like part of the family, but it never really worked. I made an effort to engage with their interests, but they never did the same for me. My brother constantly mocked the things I liked, and my parents either watched it happen or even joined in. My friend's mom was incredibly kind and took us to the Eras tour, but when I excitedly showed my mom pictures of our outfits, she just laughed at me. I even found a show I thought everyone might enjoy, White Lotus. But the moment we started watching, they immediately began making fun of it. After years of hard work, I got accepted into a school in New York City and moved there with 2 friends and one of their cousins. Deep down, I knew this was me moving out for good, even after just a few weeks of living here. I feel more accepted than I ever did at home. My mom FaceTimed me to check in, and when I told her things were amazing, I could literally see on her face that she didn't care. I mentioned that we were all excited because it's my first Christmas in New York, and we had so many cool things to see. She just smirked and rolled her eyes. That moment broke something in me, because my friend's mom, a completely burnt-out pediatric nurse, actually made us a list of things we could do and see this week. She even asked us to send her pictures of the Christmas tree and everything. Meanwhile, my own mother couldn't even pretend to be interested, so I told her it was okay. She didn't have to pretend anymore. She acted confused, so I clarified, saying she didn't have to fake interest or pretend to care about what I was doing. I told her I knew they never really liked me, and that they were happy I had left. She was completely stunned and asked why I would say something so awful, insisting that she and my dad love me. I told her that maybe they love me, but I know they don't like me. They constantly roll their eyes at everything I say. They never show interest in anything I do, and they make fun of the things I enjoy just because they don't like them. When I told them I was moving to New York, they immediately started talking about turning my room into a library. She got visibly angry and accused me of being dramatic. I told her there's a reason I chose to go to school in New York, a reason why no one in my family tried to stop me or encourage me to stay closer, and a reason why not a single one of them has asked when I'll come back. And honestly, it's fine, because I don't care anymore. I have the family I need right here." She snapped and said that I suddenly think I'm too good for my own family. I told her that she's always thought they were too good for me, so I guess it works out. So, am I an idiot? Share the video and please like it.